Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a car that did the impossible. It actually surpassed perfection. This is the story of the Bugatti Chiron and how it was engineered to smash through a barrier that honestly, most people believed was a hard limit of physics, 300 miles per hour.
So, you've just built the Veyron, a car that completely rewrote the rulebook. What do you do next? Well, for Bugatti's engineers, this was the monumental question they had to answer. And look, they weren't just asked to build a successor. No, the job was way bigger. It was about starting a whole new chapter, about creating the next icon from a completely blank slate.
All right, so let's get into what they were actually asked to do. The whole Chiron project kicked off with what you could only call an impossible brief. The big bosses at Volkswagen came to them and basically said, "You know that miracle you just pulled off? Yeah, do it again. Only this time it couldn't just be faster. It had to be fundamentally better in every single way. Stronger, smarter, and way more stable at speeds that were just insane." The goal here wasn't just improvement, it was total domination. The mission was crystal clear: out-engineer the Veyron. And not just in one or two areas, but across the board. We're talking more power, better aero, insane stability, and cooling that could handle a furnace. Literally every single piece, from the engine's gut-punching force to the stiffness of the chassis, was put under a microscope and pushed to a whole new extreme. So where do you even start with a project like this? Well, you start at the heart of the beast, the engine. And listen, Bugatti didn't just take the old W16 and tweak it a little. No way. They tore it down and completely re-engineered it, taking that legendary 8-liter quad-turbo monster and launching it into a completely different universe of performance.
First things first, power. And the number they landed on is just staggering: 1,479 horsepower. I mean, just to put that into perspective for you, that is almost a 50% jump over the original Veyron. Think about that. A few years before this, that kind of power in a street-legal car was pure science fiction. And all that horsepower is backed up by an absolutely earth-shattering 1,600 Newton-meters of torque. Now, torque is that raw, twisting force. It's what gives the Chiron that relentless, just brutal kick of acceleration that literally pins you to your seat no matter what speed you're already doing.
So what happens when you combine all that power and all that torque? You get a launch that's almost violent. We're talking 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, that's about 62 miles per hour, in just 2.4 seconds. It's not just fast, it's an assault of G-force. The pressure that pushes you into your seat is so intense, it's actually bordering on painful.
Now, what's really important to get here is that this wasn't just some simple software tune. You don't get these kinds of numbers by plugging in a laptop. No, this took a complete top-to-bottom re-engineering of the W16 engine. We're talking bigger turbos, stronger pistons and connecting rods made out of titanium, and a total rethink of how you even get the boost into the engine. So, how do you manage all that power without a ton of turbo lag? Well, the secret sauce is this genius sequential turbo setup. See, the whole system works in 2 stages. Down low in the rev range, you've got 2 smaller turbos that spin up instantly for immediate response. But then, once you get past about 3,800 RPM, bam! 2 massive turbos kick in to deliver maximum overwhelming power. The result? It's this perfectly smooth, non-stop wave of acceleration that feels like it will never, ever end.
Okay, so they sorted out the power. Unbelievable power. But now the challenge shifts. It's no longer just about what's happening inside the engine. It's about the battle the car is fighting with the air itself. And trust me, at the speeds the Chiron is capable of, air isn't just air. It's a massive invisible wall. I want you to really try and picture this. Imagine you're slicing through the air at over 450 kilometers an hour. At that speed, the air doesn't just flow around you. It compresses. It packs together so tightly that it basically behaves like a solid concrete wall. And that was the #1 problem for Bugatti's aero team. How on earth do you design a car that's stable enough to not fly away, but also slippery enough to punch a hole through that wall? The solution is something straight out of science fiction, an active aero system that literally changes the shape of the car as it drives. You're heading into a corner? The massive rear wing pops up and tilts, acting like a giant air brake and planting the car to the ground with huge downforce. But when it's time for a top speed run, that wing sucks back into the body, the car hunkers down low, and the whole thing goes into this special low drag mode to slice through that wall of air.
But here's the crazy thing. Air isn't just the enemy, it's also the car's lifeline. Think about the incredible heat that a 1,500 horsepower engine generates. To handle that, the Chiron has to breathe on a scale that is just industrial. Get this, Every single minute that this car is at full throttle, 60,000 liters of air gets sucked through its 10 different radiators. That's more air than you or I breathe in an entire week. All of that just to stop this monster of an engine from literally melting down.
So you've got this insane engine and these crazy aerodynamic forces pushing and pulling on the car. You can't just build this thing like a normal car. It would just rip itself to pieces. No, you need a structure, a skeleton, that's as strong and as advanced as a modern Formula One race car.
And what sits at the very core of the Chiron is exactly that, an F1-style carbon fiber monocoque. It's basically a single, super strong shell that the whole car is built around. This gives it a resistance to twisting that's on par with a Le Mans race car. And that is what's so critical. That extreme stiffness is what keeps the car stable and safe at insane speeds. A normal car's steel frame would just twist like a pretzel and, well, disintegrate. So all this incredible engineering, every single nut and bolt we've talked about, it was all building towards one thing, one single moment in time, the creation of a purpose-built machine designed to do something that most people in the world thought was just physically impossible.
And that machine was the Chiron Super Sport 300+. You have to think of this car as a specialized evolution. Every single change was laser-focused on one single goal, breaking the 300-mile-per-hour barrier. It had a longer tail for stability, the aero was tweaked for even lower drag, they squeezed even more power out of the engine to get it close to 1,600 horsepower, and it even had special Michelin tires designed to handle insane rotational forces. We're talking over 5,000 Gs. And then, on August 2nd, 2019, it happened. At Volkswagen's legendary Ära La Sienne test track in Germany, history was made. The legendary test driver Andy Wallace was behind the wheel, and the Chiron Super Sport 300+ did it. It officially hit a top speed of 490.484 kilometers per hour. That's 304.773 miles per hour. It became the very first production-based car in history to smash through that mythical 300-mile-per-hour wall.
And then, something completely unexpected happened. After reaching the absolute peak, the very summit of automotive speed, Bugatti made this stunning announcement. They said they were done. Their decades-long hunt for top speed records was officially over. It was like they had climbed Mount Everest, planted their flag, and said, okay, that's it, we're done. There's nothing else to prove. So you've got to ask, right? Why stop? Why quit when you're on top? Well, because for Bugatti, the Chiron's legacy was never really about one specific number on a screen. It was about something bigger. It was about making a final, definitive statement on what the internal combustion engine was truly capable of. Really, the Chiron is proof. It's proof of what we can achieve when money is no object, and the only mission is to bend the laws of physics to your will. This is a machine built with more precision than some parts of the aerospace industry. It's a car that somehow manages to combine the most insane luxury with speed and stability that, honestly, felt like science fiction just a few years ago. You can say it without any doubt. This is the absolute peak of the combustion engine hypercar. And that leaves us with one last big question. As the whole world shifts towards electric cars, you have to wonder, was this it? Was the Chiron the final word? It's entirely possible that with this car, we've already seen the absolute pinnacle of an entire era of engineering, the last and greatest masterpiece of the internal combustion engine.